back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Katowice Royale. 5 games done, 2 to go, and very much all still to play for. The leaderboards could not be tighter, and there is still no decided winner. So what we're going to do now is, before we get into our last 2 games, we're going to find out a little bit more about our players. We had a little bit of fun with them earlier, and we saw how much they know about each other. So let's check it out.
I'm gonna say yes to that.
Yes.
Nope.
He said yes first, but then he's never practiced it, so he said no. Correct?
Nice. Yep.
Yes. I think that he doesn't get tilted easily, but he might get tilted because of like some things sometimes, so I'll say yeah. Like he gets tilted about some things easily, but not everything. So yeah. No? Okay, see, I was wrong, but I was right at the same time, kind of.
Yeah, he does.
I'm gonna say no, he doesn't. No. Never.
Never.
All right then, guys. Obviously, communication, very important. Teamwork, very important. And we could see some of our duo pairings there, maybe not knowing quite as much as we might have thought they did about each other.
He was right, but he wasn't right. But he was right. He was right, definitely.
I'm confused.
I think we're all confused. I think we're all confused. And one thing that isn't too confusing at the moment is the fact that anyone can still win this thing today. We've got so many players still involved, so many players still within striking distance. The term we've used quite a lot in the last few days. Who could win this? I mean, the 2 that you wanted to talk about are the 2 at the top of the leaderboards who have been trading places, of course, in Bizzle and Magic.
Yeah, Bizzle, Imagine trading places, trading blows all throughout the standings. They were... Bizzle was in second the first game, then he dropped out. Now he's coming back. He's actually in first now, and he's up against Imagine in second. And really, this is what solidifies the last game, right? That going into this, everybody in the top 10, top 15 still has a chance, right? They could still have 2 monster games and come back. But after this game, it's all down to the 1 more, right? And that's all you can do. So the top 5 is pretty much going to be solidified.
You know what's interesting to me is if you look at the top 5 with Bizzle, Magan, Scram, Funkbomb, and Vinny, only one of those players actually has a victory out under their belt over the course of these 5 rounds. So that's really showing how this format, how these eliminations, and how the placing of consistently getting into these top 10 situations is really going to affect your overall location.
And Funkbomb and Vinny, 2 players there who, you know, Vinny we kind of highlighted before the last game as sort of creeping his way up there, but Funkbomb's done something very similar. Baller. He's found his way into that conversation, that top 5, and another big game from him, Ed, that may be a victory royale at this point in the tournament, timing it right. That could be huge for him now.
Same thing with Scram. Obviously, it's different, right? Funkbomb is kind of playing consistently in terms of placement. Scram kind of just had a big game last one. And the other guy I want to touch on as well is Vivid coming through. He was all the way in 60th or something like that after our first 2 games. He's up to 15th right now, and we'll see if he's going to be able to go all the way through there.
We saw Aiden moving up a lot of places as well after he got to the end game there. I think he picked up 5 eliminations as well in that last game. So it's not just the top players we talked about as well who are obviously vying for that top spot. We're talking about players moving up the placements, moving up those money placements as well.
I think it's important to remember, though, a lot of these players aren't really, well, I think there's a number of them who aren't really solo players. They're more of team players, more of duo players. And they're obviously going to be focused on to tomorrow's games, to when those duo matches kick off. So we're seeing, I mean, if you're Bizzle, who does well in solos and duos, you're obviously going to be happy about it. But I feel like we can't necessarily take some of these rankings too harsh. I think when we get into tomorrow and Sunday is when we're really going to see who's the best of the best.
And I think you're going to see all these players as they're setting up at the moment, getting ready for this penultimate game of the day in the solos competition as well. Maybe there's not as many smiles as we saw at the start of the day. Everyone's kind of like focusing up now and thinking, I've just got to deal with the job in hand.
It's all seriousness. Like I said, this is really the last game to solidify your opportunity for that first place. Another guy as well, History, one of those Brazilian players, he's in 6th. He has that opportunity. He's had a big game. He needs another one, really.
And here we go then, gentlemen, for the penultimate time today. Katowice, I want you to get behind these players as well. Make some noise for them as we go into our round number 6.
All right, thank you very much, on set. And yes, Ball, our first time cast together, and will we have for the first time a second victory royale for one of these players? Bizzle obviously going to be one of the players who's really focusing on potentially getting one of these and really solidifying that spot in number 1.
Yeah. Here he is in Dusty Divot. This is a secret to success. Myth taking out Norwood, and actually Funk Bomb going down in the feed as well. He's in, I think he's in 4th right there.
Well, he was. I don't think he's going to be there anymore after that. We talked about him as really climbing up the standings and all of a sudden shooting up into top 5. But with that elimination, he's going to be hurt.
Yeah. And here we're actually just looking at the map all around. We talked about Bizzle. He's uncontested in Divot. That's one of his strengths. When he is uncontested there, really doing well. But Tilted actually had something like 6 players there. So we're really starting to see things heat up. A lot of players starting to mix it up and go for those kind of risky drops.
I mean, the thing is, you're obviously a very highly competitive player and a very good player. If you're in this kind of tournament, are you looking at this if you're not in top 50 or even in top 40 with arm grasp of the top 20 position? Are you trying to spoil people's chances by trying to get aggressive and trying to maybe contest their spots that they normally wouldn't expect someone to be there?
No, definitely not trying to spoil if I'm not in contention, but I am trying to still get into contention for that, for that money, or for that prize regardless, up into that top 20. That's where I'm trying to reach. And going tilted is a way to do that, right? Remember, there's 2 games, and outside of the top 20 is really not, it's always volatile. We saw that in the Polish event. It's very, very volatile because people aren't scoring points every single game.
And you can kind of play like you've got nothing to lose almost at that sense of
exactly.
If we can't, if I can't break top 20, then let's just go ham and go crazy. Kilos in the meantime, going to get a couple of clingers here, potentially going to trade out that infantry rifle, which he will do just that. Jarko, so man, we've been talking about a ton, has had a relatively quiet last match. Looking obviously change his stars here to get it to
so good here. Hardcore's just completely obliterating the bottom floor of that treehouse there, or of that, yeah, the treehouse. And now he's on to Jaro. Let's see if Jaro can come back from the back foot here. He did escape that basement. That was really strong, really smart from him.
He's got the shotgun. He's got an opportunity. He does get the replace. He gets the shy. He's on a 5 HP though. And he will pay the price.
That's the end of Hardcore's there. We're talking about how he was clawing his way into the standings. And now over towards the desert, and Diza on the edge.
He just recently picked up an elimination. I didn't see who it was on to, but an elimination nonetheless. And he's got a pretty decent kit, at least in terms of weapons. So we could use some healing items here.
We'll see. Now, all the early game action is starting to really heat up. We'll see if any of the other hot spots like Retail, Tilted, Paradise are all starting to finish up. But here's Nikov. Nikov was one of our leaders early as well, and now it's FaxFox on the camo. Camo in that Shifty Shafts. The house is right on the edge. And it's all camo right now. FaxFox trying to heal up, and he does actually connect. You saw him place the wall and the floor there to connect it in 2 different spots. Camo working on it, but FaxFox with the nice edit there.
That tac shotgun's going to need to do some serious work here. As just going to have the SMG there back. You can see him trying to pop his big shield here the best he can. The tac shotgun comes in, but hey, the tac shotgun's not as good as the pump. And Camo with the disrespect as well. He gets the elim.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Whenever you're going up against a pump with no shield, it can always change right in a blink of an eye, and that's what's going to happen. But here, kill this in the Stompy, in that Frost.
He's in the stink. He's in the stink, down to 27 HP. He's trying to turbo build as well to stop himself from being eliminated. Not trying to edit his way out, which he does get some distance, but distance won't get you free here. Stompy, 104 HP, is looking just for a different angle to fight with, and maybe this is opportunity to actually just back away for now. I think as he wants this elimination, even some clingers being thrown into, I don't know why, if you're Kilos, you're to do that.
Yeah, Keyless there. When he was stunk, he had the campfire going, so he realized he could just back off. But he's got to be careful now. He can come through the top, Stompy, that is, and he's on the back foot. But one of the things that impressed me so much about these players at Frosty Keyless took out Nate Hill with such an impressive fashion. He's really good out of a box.
Here we go, trying to edit above him. You can see that he's just expecting it to be there too, trying to potentially back away the trap being thrown down. It will halt the push out of Stompy, who eats a hell of a lot of damage there, now down to 57 HP, being forced to pop these small shields as Keyless might use this opportunity to get aggressive, might use this opportunity to actually catch him off guard.
He's so low. He's only at 2 HP right now. And they're actually both so low. One shot could make the difference here in this fight. And again, Kill is so strong out of that box. He's bandaging up. Actually, Stompy right now running out of ammo, so I think he might decide to back up. He can still do this with this loadout. Oh, actually finding the stinks. This could be huge, Jason.
It could be, if he can just catch on Kilos locked into that building here. He does take the high ground. He's actually above him with the stink bomb. It's not going to connect onto Kilos, though, unfortunately. He won't see the damage ticks. He knows that Kilos is safe for now. In the meantime, those bandages that Kilos was able to get with his transition to that second floor has got him back fairly decent in HP.
Yeah. And there, Stompy trying to find him there with the stinks. He's not going to be able to. They do have the zone, so they have plenty of room to fight here. for the remaining time. He still can use these ticks to kind of just find out where he is, right? If he gets one tick, even if it's only one tick, that's the information he needs to know exactly where he is.
And what's so funny, this fight's been going on for so long, and yet we've had no eliminations really around the board from anyone else. Aspect, unfortunately, has fallen to Seth there. And Kilos, I don't know how he's still fighting away from this one. He was down to 2 health, and he's back up to 75, and he might have an opportunity to turn this around on Stompy's head as Stompy's looking to find him yet again. The thing is, time is taken away, and time that you're fighting, this time you're not farming materials, it's not picking up weapons, not getting more ammo, which is still going to be low on.
That's a very good point, Jason. And also, oh, actually hopping in, Imagine is in a fight right here on the edge of Loot Lake. I'm hoping this isn't his teammate. No, it's Envy and Lil J. A lot of the Asian players in this area right now.
Oh, and some dynamite thrown in.
We actually saw Lil J's teammate do exactly the same thing with a grenade launcher early on in the game. And really, he just likes to force the issue for other players, right? Envy versus Imagine. He's like, guys, fight. Come on. I want you to fight so I can just take shots at you.
Let me help you guys force an elimination so I can come in and steal one away. He actually was interrupted while I was using the legendary Chug Jug. He's eventually going to get it off, though it seems after about 15 seconds of time. So he will have that 200 HP to work with. He still does not have a pump shotgun, though. And he knows there's 2 players here in the vicinity that he has to really respect and be careful of.
Actually, Imagine is one of the only players I know who really prefers the tac shotgun. I've watched him a lot. I haven't watched him recently, but always preferring that tac shotgun just because of the rate of fire, I guess, in terms of that.
My man. My man. I'm all about that. I don't have the aim that some of these kids here playing do have.
Jason's
I'm more of a
tac boy.
Yeah, I'm more of a brain player, and well, when your brain's as small as mine, you're not really doing much playing, I guess. Rizart, in the meantime, going to be up against 7 SSK7.
It's a risky peek there, the left shoulder. He's got to be careful. Oh, and he does manage to actually switch the peek onto Rizart. Takes him out. Nice play there from SSK7. But he's in the zone. He has to find a way out. Again, we see all these players fighting in the zone right on the edge sometimes. They always need to have a plan to get back into the zone. We'll see what he decides to do, but again, only ticking for 1. He has the opportunity there. This is still a stalemate here.
And now Morgan's like, all right, I'm going to just sit here and let you 2 fight it out since Lil J's been the one just interrupting our skirmish.
But it's an issue for Imagine, right? Because actually, Envy has taken a position that's going to pinch Imagine between Lil J and Envy. So nice play there by Envy, but Lil J says, actually, no, I don't want to duo up on Imagine. I just want to make this a nice, even fight. Let's be a gentleman. And he takes some shots on Envy. Again, scary position there for Imagine.
Yeah. I think as you can see, Lolito as well, still going to be potentially coming in here in a moment's time. Zeke, one of our Polish players, does get the shot, gets the elimination.
What a shot there from Zeke. Just drops down and immediately takes it to the face there. Nice play. SSK7 goes down. That's one of the other issues about going on the zone. People can stay in, and I think Zeke actually ran ahead of them and managed to take him out there when he came through.
I think Morgan's taken some damage. He's lost some shield.
Yeah.
Envy, we saw, took a couple of shots from Lil J just from across the way here, just a little bit earlier on as well. So it seems like everyone is fighting everyone here in this little 3-way skirmish.
Really tough position, especially because he has 2 players who don't have any intention of moving. Fortunately for them, the zone is not that far. It is all the way towards Tilted, so they have to get across the lake. And Chat here grabbing a rift. He's low on HP, but that's going to be okay. Just have those 2 big pots. If you can find something to heal back up in terms of what we call white health, and he's going to be in good shape for the end game.
Looks and like again, he has push though.
But imagine he spots the launch pad, I think, that this other player had, and now it's Envy versus Lil J.
I think Lil J got a little impatient here. He wants the elimination. He wants to get 1 on the board in round number 6. Going to be popping one of the small shields. He's going to be knocked down before he can even get this one off, so he's going to be forced to build back up here. 42 builds left to go.
That's his opportunity to escape there. As soon as those players spot, Imagine just was waiting for that. He was saying, okay, when can I go? And he's actually going to find the launch pad from Lil J here that he used to actually engage there. He's going to take a few shots and then get out of here. That's Imagine's idea right now, as those players are not going to be able to do anything to Imagine.
Do it.
There is a launch pad nearby for these guys, so they have the escape plan, but this fight needs to end now.
I want to see him almost go in there and fight them, actually. In the meantime, Lil J trying to transition across the water. Like I said, Morgan has backed away from this one, so he gets a little bit lucky from being in the pincer position. He does get himself away, and Envy has won the battle.
Yeah, Envy taking it there. Actually, so just a little note on the Chinese scene. They do play a little bit of a different format where eliminations are very, very heavily incentivized. So that's kind of the style that they play over there, making sure they get those elims, making sure that they hold as long as possible for the opportunities there. And now you can see everybody spread around the zone. Let's see Animal's still up. Vinny's up. Who else is in contention right now?
You got Vivid still alive. You got Mizo in there as well. Bizzle, Demo. A lot of players
Imagine still up. Obviously, we saw him get away.
We're going to see Llama here. one of our Japanese players. I think one of our 2 Japanese players, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, him and his teammate Rizart. One of the 2 Japanese players here. Llama, we see a little bit more than Rizart. We saw Rizart get I think he was eliminated by SSK7 earlier.
Yeah, then SSK7 did fall right after that. Vinny, though, that's definitely one of the players who's currently ranked 5 at the moment. He fell from 1st to 5th in the last round. He needs to have a good game here.
Yeah, Vinny is one of the players who's doing the most in terms of getting eliminations in the end game. He's always getting towards that end game, and he's always finding tons of elims. We haven't seen much of him on our feed, but he is doing so well with that.
Let's see, check
Imagine again.
He still just seems, wherever he is, there seems to be always someone fighting in his direction.
And that's going to be rough for him, especially if they realize he's there. He's actually trying to get over to him, but no, he's going to get shot right back. And Imagine takes advantage, actually. He might decide to push. He kind of has to push. Look at his materials, Jason. He's kind of running it low. So he knows his player's low. He's going to push all the way under. See what he can do on the end. He's in zone. That's very important. And he actually gets in his box.
It's in the zone, but the thing is, he still has only the tack. Does he have the damage to take down Skix here? Or sorry, Miz right above him.
Might do. Just got to be careful with the edits. He did pick up a little bit of mats. That's going to buy him a little bit more time. But if he does not take out Miz, and if he does not have mats for him, or any sort of loadout, but look who's lurking in the back. It's Envy. And he's again going to bring it to them.
Took that little J.
There it is. Back in. Imagine got it. That's very important. He's
Stop celebrating. There's more people. You're not safe yet. I know you want to dance. We still got Envy here who's coming back for seconds. He's coming back to finish off what he started earlier on. I think Magan immediately re-notices this and does start to focus up here because he needs this elimination, especially with his position at number 2. If he wants to dethrone Bizzle and take that first place away, he's going to need this elim. He's going to need to escape this one.
They're both holding edits with the box in between. You can see Envy doing a little bit of flip in the background, starting to throw the tomatoes. It's a dance-off, Jason. But
the breakdance fighting.
Oh, my goodness. So Imagine is not getting let go. Actually, here comes Envy. He says, maybe I do want to push this. But I think it's the point in time where people are starting to realize that third circle's starting to close. They're starting to realize there's so much congestion getting all around. There's actually less players than we would be used to. Just trying to replace that wall down now.
Well, you heard Scram earlier on in the interview with Adam. He was saying he learned to not fight mid-game. Yeah. There's almost no point for him to do it because if you fall here, you're out of the top 50, you're out of points.
But one of the things, though, they're in a box on low ground, and because of this, nobody else can really tell that they're actually fighting. So imagine here. Really, nobody's letting him go. He's just going to continue to dance, try to dance him off. Say, go away, man. I don't want to fight you. Come on. You already chased me one time in Loot Lake. Come on, man.
Well, speaking of chasing, Kinstar has been chasing back for a top position since he fell earlier on when he did have number 1 winning round 2. Yeah. If you're just joining us and missed out on that. He's looking pretty here with his HP, but his weaponry is still a little bit lacking, but he has so much shield to work with here.
Yeah, the French community, the French-speaking community did so well early on, but they've kind of all fallen off a little bit. They're still in that top 10 area, and they can come right back up into this.
I'm going to hit you with a stat real quick, okay?
Okay.
Kind of a stat. So we looked at the amount of players, and we looked at how many countries, right? 28 countries, 17 players out of the 100 are from the US, 6 from the UK, 7 from Sweden, and 12 from France. I did not realize we have so many French participants here.
The French scene is absolutely dominant from the beginning, and this is the guy who actually led the charge, Kinstar, one of the stars of the French community. That was terrible, wasn't it?
Nah, it was good. I like it. At least you didn't dab like on set here next to me.
Oh my goodness.
Meantime, Milan here, top of the clock tower. Again, the prodigy that everyone's been talking about. Again, hasn't had the greatest performance when it comes to solos, but I really want to see how he does up with Smeeth tomorrow when we do get into the duos. But Tilt to the Storm is closing. You have to evacuate the city.
This
but look
next
how many
zone
players
is so important.
are towards the southwest side compared to the north.
Yeah.
Like, north is completely open.
The shifty shafts and the houses let you actually hide there a lot more. We see actually that broken house over towards that Dusty Divot area being a little bit bigger has let a lot more people stay. Now, Bizzle on screen, Vivid on screen, Aim Hero. There's 72 hours as well. A lot of representation in the leaderboards here in the top.
And Bizzle's in the thick of it here, pretty much in the middle of this giant city that's being built up and erected.
This is crazy. Again, there's so much places. Actually, Myth taking out chat there in the feed. Again, like I'm talking about Shifty, there's so much to just hide in. There's a little bit of corners you can just box yourself up in random places. And you see Bizzle taking those walls down so he can place walls of his own.
And on that note, right, because there's so many of these angles you can hide in, moving or traversing this area can be so deadly because there's so many angles you can be shot from.
This is an issue here for Imagine and Envy. They're not in zone. They have a little bit of ways to go. And oh,
I love that!
using the dynamite onto his launch pad, says, Envy, you cannot chase me no longer. And there we go. He makes it away. I was wondering how he was going to make it out there. That's what I was talking about. They're so far from zone. They need to make it through. They're in the ravine. There's so many issues there for Magin, but he finds a spot. He finds a way, but no. Actually, Envy's going to come right back over there.
I love that, like, 200 IQ play out of him. Hoopik going to be very high in the air as he's just going to ditch the quad crasher. He's just going to hit a tree.
Yeah.
Poor.
You saw he immediately got out the quad crasher as soon as the quad crasher hit that floor, because otherwise you could take fall damage. So.
Yeah. And Morgan, now the thing is, the battle never ends for him, it seems. Now Svenos is going to be the one he has to contend with here as he's tucked away inside of his building. We can see Myth there towards the far end side. Item's still in there, who's currently in the top 10. Skype there as well. I saw Ninja dancing to this last night on a stream. It's fantastic. He's got moves.
He's got moves indeed. Remember, guys, this is game 6. One more game to go after this. These players are all trying their hardest. You can tell that they're playing so much slower. They're playing so much calmer. You saw it in the fight with Envy and Magin and the rest of these players as well. Now it's going to be hill ending right next to Shifty Shafts, right over the ravine. This is going to be very dangerous for a lot of players if they're not comfortable fighting in this ravine.
I love how you point out the importance of this round as well, because there's only one left to go. Look at this. A lot of buildings being torn down here. Animal on about half HP. You see Vivid being shot up from the left-hand side. Jordan's going to be there up against Sap as well. Sap is, again, he's been my guy I've been looking at to take this whole thing. But Bizzle, he's just sneaking under the radar. He's not really been shot at. There's not really any attention towards his direction.
There's Animal going low. Mirwana trying to get any damage he can. And there, that half-in, half-out zone is actually in the ravine, like I was talking about. This is going to be so tough for a lot of these players because you have to go down and then you have to come up. So it is kind of, we'll see when we look at the zone here, but Saf there, Mirwana still up on high ground. 72 Hours was still up on high ground. There's Jordan as well.
He did have a rift actually thrown in there. I think about 2 or 3 players did take to potentially get into the high ground. You see the Storm Surge starting to affect some players here. Bizzle sitting on the edge here. Aim here is being tagged down damage just from the Storm.
Yeah, we saw the Storm Surge tick, and it took out a few players, so it's going to go back away. Bizzle is actually first to zone. That was so key for this zone. That was my key point getting into this, is the first people and the last people are going to be in good shape here, because the last people, we saw it just slightly there. The half-in, half-out zone is on the mountain, so if you can go late and grab that mountain, you're going to be in a really good position, especially if it goes over the mountain.
You see Mitro's still going to be alive, 72 Hours as well. Demo trying to take some high ground control here as he has a choke jug.
Ooh, Vinny as well, right on high ground, right under Demo. We'll see what he's able to do. It's an endgame Slayer. Here's Demo. He has 2 elims for his own right now already, but Vinny says, hey, actually, you're not paying attention to me. Gets a little bit of damage done. Demo has that chug. This is probably going to be his last opportunity to use it.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, he's 200 HP. He doesn't have a need to use it until he does get tagged up from the high ground. Sinu is going to be up there. Still one of our Korean players. Now, Vinny recently signed over to TSM, if you guys were paying attention. I believe that was yesterday. Yeah. And he's still in our 5th position overall at the moment, looking to climb further into the rankings. Zate's going to be there. You can see Seth trying to heal it from the campfire.
Magin is so close to Issa right now. That's such a dangerous person to be next to. Issa can end fights in an instant, just like Aiden.
Oh my gosh, Isma.
Sinu being...
Talk about being king of the castle. Look at him. He's high up.
A little bit of a nuisance there. There's actually nobody decided to take that mountain there. It's all on the Shifty side, and it's going to go across. You can look right now on the bottom right of your screen. It's going back over to the high ground, away towards Dusty Divot, basically.
So if you're Isma here, like, what do you do? What's your game plan? I would imagine being this high up is not a very safe feeling when you cross this valley.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if Sinu or somebody else has a little bit of mobility on high ground. If they don't, then I got to jump down and try to make the rotate. But little mats for him. Aim Hero goes down there. A lot of players focusing, trying to get that launch pad. Nobody actually used it. He just placed it, didn't use it.
That's another player who's already won one of our victory royales here so far today, out of the fight for another chance. Milan's to get the elimination onto Myth here, as we do see the launch pads coming in. Everyone's skydiving over here.
But I'm talking about everybody using that mobility to get up on the high ground without having to build up. That's the riskiest spot, is to be building up. But here's Kinstar, one of the French players that we were paying attention to, the French community. Here's Bizzle as well. Bizzle, first place right now, only 18 builds. We'll see what he's going to be able to manage to do. He's going to get knocked down, and that's so scary for him. So much in, but Philex takes him out. That's the problem. When you get knocked down, you just fall into people's boxes.
But that's important, though. That's important for Vin, for instance, who's 5th place. Yeah. The fact that Bizzle's not out of this means there's not a lot of points that he can build up into this. As long as he can keep himself alive, Vinny, he can build up a big lead and close this gap up against his Bizzle.
That's for sure, and we'll see if Magin is still up as well.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is, Magin on the high ground with the minigun. Here he is. He's trying to do this. If he can get the placements in this game, he's going to take a strong lead against Bizzle and the other players in the lobby. Actually, you can see somebody already towards the other side of this, building up the metal box there. That's Sinu. Sinu doing such a good job staying ahead. And now Magin trying to build up towards him, but Sinu's not letting him, and he's build fighting him. So Magin's going to decide, hey, I don't want high ground. You can take it. I don't really want it.
Mag needs to be careful, though. The fact he's running out of materials, he needs to stay alive, like you mentioned before. Vinny gets himself another elimination.
He's in trouble, though. He's in trouble. It's going up the hill even further, but it's going to go across the hill as well. So if he doesn't get up, he's going to be stuck.
Now, you hear a lot of fingers going off here. In the meantime, you can see some bottle rockets even being thrown. That's from Sinu, who was carrying them the entire time here.
That's actually so scary. Those bottle rockets going out right up above you in endgame. 10 players remaining now.
Oh, what a shot! Kinstar says, hell no, not today here. Sinu's going to fall. The Vic's still in there. Kinstar needs more eliminations. Vinny's still on the low ground with not a lot of people around.
It's another one.
On Boyer. That's now 3.
Staying in the zone and taking Boyer out just so he can get that health on Elim there and back again with Magin. He's got 2 Elims. He's got high ground. And guess what? It's going into the open. He's got to start dropping down. Only 12 builds remaining.
It's 2 of our top 5 players still alive here left in round number 6. You can see Vinny, though, he's got a lot of people to fight out.
This is a huge fight.
Elimination! And Dementos will fall as well. That's his 3rd. And Morgan, I almost think he was overtaken Bizzle for first place, but can he get more? A first place finish for him now would guarantee that first place spot and almost guarantee him a top 10.
Yeah, and Vinny fighting on low ground against Aries as well. Magin trying to take out anybody else he can. Zeke goes down. Here we go. Magin. No more builds. He takes so much damage, and Aries takes him out. So it's a 1v1 now.
Aries up against 1. Can he get this elimination? Since somehow he pulled this off, the pressure's coming as he's trying to build above the 10. Builds left for him. Now down to 5. He's got the shotgun, though.
Well. 6 Elims, and he can also use that launch pad to take high ground if he needs to against the Vic, but he's going to be ready for that.
This could be a 100-point game for him if he gets this final elimination up against the Vic. They're about almost equal in terms of HP. As you can see, the Vic missing a little bit of health. The Storms continue to move. It's going back up to the high ground. How is Aries going to get back up there?
It's going over the hill, so Vic just needs to kind of help. Oh, but he heavy snipes him down, and no, he's going to stay up. I think he's no mats down below, but both of them are low mats. So this is going to go to it. They're going to get in the zone right here.
He's got bandages, though. He could probably heal this one out, even if he can't build back up.
He's going to go for the
shot! He chases it down, and again, ball. We have a new victor here for our Victory Royale. The Vic claims his first one of the day.
The Victory Royale for the Vic there. Again, the French-speaking community is coming in. And wow, that was such a good decision there. You saw how he immediately went silent when he realized his zone was going over and when he realized his opponent was down below. He went silent, said, okay, maybe he's going to think I went high ground. And that's exactly what happened. He comes down on him in surprise and takes him out with a nice, clean pump shot.
I think you can tell as well on the screen here what it means to him, the pressure he was under in that final 1v1. So well done by him, and he's got to feel great.
Oh, he's got to feel fantastic, gentlemen. A fantastic job. Really enjoyed that cast from you guys. The Vic then picking up the Victory Royale. I mean, the French community, we were saying, well, they've got a little bit quiet here, and then all of a sudden, they burst back into life here.
Bursting back into life for sure. The Vic, we'll see where he lands in the standings. I'm super excited to see them because this is going to be our last look before Game 7. The last one. Oh, my goodness.
Honestly, I can't wait to see the standings, actually, because Bizzle, who did fall earlier on, Morgan, who made it into, I think, the top 5, should almost certainly have overtaken him. The question comes down to by how much. And then Funkbomb, who was in 4th place, dropped so early. So that 5th place or 4th place he did have, I almost think he's going to be dropped out of top 10, if not top 15, or even out of the money, out of top 20.
Yeah, imagine definitely securing himself, I think, definitely for sure, 1st place. And it's all going to be about how big of a gap is it going to be, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about because we talked about our top 2 a lot here. Bizzle, Imagine, who have kind of been swapping places for the majority of the day, and there's been a big shift here. I think that Bizzle was eliminated around the 30th place or something like that in that game, and obviously Imagine taking it right down to the last few players there. My point to make here is how close has everyone got to Bizzle below him now? How big is that gap at the top of the leaderboard now? Is there other players still in contention here with a big Game 7 who could take home the whole thing?
There has to be, right? There has to be some people in contention for #1 place. It comes down to, like we were talking about, that 100-point game you still can get. You get those 7 eliminations, and you get the Victory Royale, and you could easily shoot through to 1st.
Can we talk about how much pressure Imagine was under that entire game?
Yeah.
Envy was chasing him all the way through, and then guess what? He fought Envy's teammate in Sinu on the high ground, and yeah, just all the way through. Pretty much he was shambles.
He was pincered between Little J and Envy, and then he eventually got away when Little J got aggressive against Envy, so he backed off. Then he had Svenos a little bit later on. Actually, he was up against Envy again before that, and he was constant under pressure. I wanted to mention really quickly, Bala, how awesome it is when you see the moving storms go over these mountains. you really see people tested and really challenged when it comes into these final zones.
Yeah, that mobility ends up being so key. The players who are able to grab that, the loot, the vending machines, finding the elims to grab the launch pads from them, or the rift to goes, or whatever it may be. We saw at a certain point in that game, everybody flying over towards the mountain. And here we go. Here are the standings.
Gentlemen, here we go. Magic
so
on
close.
top, repping the UK, my boy. Vinny moving up into second place with a big performance there. Bizzle now down in third place. Scram still in within striking distance. And look how close it is, guys. I would say that anyone from kind of maybe 7th upwards, maybe anyone still in that top 10 with a 100-point game with a little bit of luck going their way, it's very much all still to play for here. But imagine that kind of performance there. Just gives him a little bit of breathing room, even though it's only around 10 points.
And even the Vic is still in contention for first place. If he can pull off a 100-point game, he would take first away, but he has to hope that Magen is going to have not great of a game and Bizzle as well. Like, technically, he could still come out first. That's what's so crazy about this right now.
But remember,
last round.
It all matters what the top 5 and the top 1 actually do. Remember, because if you can place in that top 10 as the player up top, regardless of if you get a lot of elims, regardless of any of that, you're still getting a lot of points. So it's kind of tick for tat, right? If he gets points, you also have to get more points. So a 100-point game, honestly, guys, I think it's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
We can hope.
I think what we're trying to say now is that the players kind of in that top 5 kind of have their destiny in their own hands, don't they? If they have a big game now, they will probably take home the win. It's as simple as that. They get some elims along the way, they place particularly well, then that trophy there could very well be in their hands. I mean, gents, we had the similar situation last weekend. It came all the way down to our final game. This seems even closer than last weekend. The solos just aren't disappointing as far as excitement and going down to the wire.
And you look at Funk Bomb. I mean, I think I want to point out just for a good reason. The thing is, he was 4th place. Yeah. He got knocked out early. If that happens to Magen, then he's not getting first. Like, if Bizzle just gets, like, was it 6 points on the board, he'll overtake him. Exactly. It is so important now, I think, if you're in the top 10, to play so passive in the beginning and not get caught out. Do not get eliminated early.
Or just take no risks. Basically, is the idea, right? You got to get towards that top 10. If you can, you secure your placement just a little bit more, right? It's only the people around you who can really make a difference. Or somebody with a crazy 100-point game. But yeah,
imagine.
I really
crazier things that happen, right?
Oh no, it could totally happen. Like I'm not saying that it's impossible, right? We've seen it. We've seen it happen. I mean, we had the opportunity in one of the other ones. I think History had a close to 100-point game. He just missed out because he didn't get that first place. But it could happen. But really, the 60-point threshold is what I'm looking for in terms of games. That's usually what people are scoring in an average game.
This is where experience comes into things as well, doesn't it? Obviously, these players have been in these positions before, know how to close out these kind of tournaments. And one player that has a lot of experience on his side is currently down on the floor. It's Adam and Lothar, I believe.
Thanks so much, Mark. In the words of Baller, let's go, Lothar. Dude, how's it going? What a day. How much have you enjoyed this experience today?
I really love the point system in this tournament. It keeps everyone on the focus, on the feet, you know, because you can see in the first place, 281 points, but the second place is like 7 points behind. So it's all about even every single elimination, every single placement point that you get is so important. And even people outside of top 30, I think they can still get into the top 10 if they get into the late game, if they can get into the top 5.
I mean, it's been amazing. Backstage, obviously, we're looking at the leaderboards, and it's changing every single game. Things are changing. How much do you think the player's mindset now, looking like, you know, if you get to the top 20, you're taking home at least 4 figures worth of, like, that lovely cheddar we talked about earlier, that prize pool. How much of it do you think now is playing for getting into that top 20, or how much of it is still playing for pride, getting those points and trying to get as high as you can?
Well, you know, I can't say for the players, but in my opinion, if you play for the prize, you're not gonna win. You're gonna have to play for the, you know, the trophy, that podium that you want to be on, and that has to be the mindset. I feel like in other games, it's a similar thing. If you have a champion's mindset, you're gonna get that prize anyway, but you need to aim to win.
Totally. And in terms of like the players today as well, is there anyone in particular that you've been surprised at how well they've done, or you've been surprised at how poorly they've done considering the competition?
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to call out people, you know, but there's 100 fantastic players here. And there has to be someone who will be doing badly, even though he's an amazing player. An example, Kripa is actually a fantastic E11 player, but he's now standing just on 15 points. Hope he will do well in the next game. But at the same time, the top finishers are currently just known players. Like, there's no surprise there. You know, if you see the top, you're like, oh, yeah, those guys, yeah, they're showing up for the past months. So it's fantastic to see.
It really is. And we're one game away from crowning our champion of solos and presenting that trophy. Cannot wait. Thank you so much. I think we made a new friend in this process as well, just behind me, which is amazing. Always making friends here. What a great community. We need to go to a break now. We're back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.